Hello, I'm Anisha, and today I'm going to go over atomic structure exam questions that are AS level. What I'd recommend is you read over your notes maybe, and then watch this video, and then practice some exam questions on your own to make sure you've consolidated the knowledge you've already got. So we'll start with this question. We've just got to complete the following table. In my opinion, it's an easy 3 marks. So if we're thinking about relative charge, for a proton, how I remember it is P for positive, so it's positive 1. For a neutron, I think for neutral, so it's 0. And then one of them has to be negative 1, so an electron is negative 1. And all we're doing is stating the facts. Again, a proton is in the nucleus, so it's 1. Neutrons in the nucleus, so it's 1. And the electrons go on the shells, so it's 1 over 2,000 roughly. I think they have a leniency when it comes to answering this question, like this part of the question, but normally you should get the mark for 1 over 2,000. Okay, so moving on to question 2. An atom element Z has 2 more protons and 2 more neutrons than atom S. Give the symbol including mass number and atomic number for of Z. Okay, so you know the bottom number is your proton number, so you'd have to add 2, because they've said you've got 2 more extra protons, so that'd be 18. And 34, and 2 more neutrons. So in this one you've got 18 neutrons already, so that will so you're adding 2, which is 20. But this is the overall, this is neutrons and protons, so you do 18 plus 20 to get 38, add your proton number on the bottom, and then you get your periodic table up and you match it. So you've got 18 as your proton number, and you can see it matches argon on the table, so you just write AR. Question part C. Complete the electron configurations for the sulfur atom S and the sulfide ion S2-. So for electron configurations, I'd recommend to get your periodic table out, which I have got here, and to just find the position of your element that you're looking for. So in our case, we're looking at S. So in our case, we're looking at sulfur. Sulfur is here. My periodic table has been labelled, so it's showing us where the S block is and the P block is. So we know sulfur is in the P block and in the 3rd row. So we've got to work across each row to fill in the shells, the orbitals, until we reach sulfur. So the first row has been done for us in the question. It's 1s2. So in the question, the first row has been done for us as 1s2. So we need to do the rest of it until we reach sulfur. So we know the 2nd row is also full, so that's 1s2. So that's 1s2, and then we're moving on to the next row. We've got 2s2 because we've got this S block full too. So we've got 2s2, but we've also got the P block full. So we've got to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 2p6 also. Then moving on to the next, moving on to the 3rd row, we've got our 3s2 also full. So we've got to list 3s2, and it's only 1, 2, 3, 4 electrons until we reach sulfur. So here you'd write 3p, but because it's not full, it's only needing 4 to reach sulfur, you'd write 3p4. So your answer would just be this. For the next part, you've got a sulfur sulfide ion, which is S2. Here, we'll go back to the periodic table. Because it's 2-, it's got an overall charge of 2-. But it means 2 extra electrons have been added, so we'd add 2 electrons. So we're reaching argon. So again, we'd go through it. This time we won't have to go through it all again because we're up to 3s2. And then where argon is, it's a full orbital. So we've got the p orbital is now full, so you just write 3p6. So it'd be the same, just the last bit would change on our answer for this. So we've got for the last part of this question, state the block in the periodic table which sulfur is placed in and explain your answer. So as we said before, we're looking for sulfur again in the periodic table. So if we get our periodic table up, sulfur is in the P block as we've discussed before. So for our answer we'd write block P. So for the last part of this question, all you'd want to say is because the highest orbital is P. Because you'd say that because if we get the periodic table up, that's where it ends essentially, and it doesn't go into the D block or the F block, it's SP first. So it ends in the P block, hence the reason the highest orbital is P. So overall this question is 9 marks. This is quite straightforward, AO1 type of questions. Maybe the last bit is AO2, but we should be getting the marks overall, hopefully. So I hope that made sense and I hope that's helpful to you.